What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916 getting down with Fresh Out. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, share the channel. You know what they're doing to us over here, so you guys got to support, represent. I got with me here today my man, Danny Sparks, entrepreneur, music producer, show producer. This guy came from the streets and turned his life around, doing some big things. And I want to get his story because we're always trying to put inspirational people on our platform so that you guys can see that crime is not the way. Danny, so tell the people a little bit about like where you from, man, and how you grew up, bro.
I am born and raised South Central Los Angeles, King and Western to be specific. Went to Crenshaw High School, San Diego State, ran the streets for a little bit, was really kind of going in a circle, what's the next hustle, what's the next hustle? And so I was doing security work about 15 years ago, and I got fired, which was a blessing in disguise. Because after doing all that time doing security, I really didn't have any job skills. My resume was kind of flat, so I had to go into business for myself. So I started car washes, and here we are 15, 20 years later. Danny's Waterless car washes, my car washes, they're inside of hotels and condos. So,
Oh, wow.
So it's not like a regular car wash that you go to. It's a little more on the luxury side.
Okay.
And so, I guess in the background of all of that, I've been producing music forever for friends and things like that. And then, now it's more of a relationship where artists will reach out to me. I may record a session for them. I may make the beat for them, things like that.
Now, growing up in that environment, King and Western, I know exactly what you're talking about. I was just over there the other day,
the dirty
man.
30s.
Yeah, man. How were you able to avoid a lot of the pitfalls and the traps, man? Because I know it's easy to get drawn into that lifestyle. I mean, I got drawn into it and didn't see it till years later that wasn't for me. But how were you able to kind of like navigate, man? Because it only takes one, bad decision that can take you down a dark path.
Well, I was lucky in that my parents were around,
Okay.
and so when my parents started to see my behavior, they would kind of knock me back on track. But then also, I had sports. I played football.
Okay.
But really, I think what ultimately kept me out of being 2 feet in the dirt, as to say, is my friends was dropping. My best friend got killed by the police. Then another homie died of whatever reasons, or I could see it without having it being told to me what my fate would be if I pursued the streets.
So when you see a lot of this going on now with the young people, and I'm always trying to put it into perspective, and I know when you're young, you feel invincible, indestructible. What would you say to like some of these youngsters, man, who are thinking like, oh man, this is a life and blah, 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 because, hindsight's 50-50, man, and I wish I would have stuck with skateboarding and BMXing.
No doubt.
It's like, but I got pulled into some stuff, man, and the girls, the excitement, I thought I was, doing something.
Right. I don't know. Hindsight does give you the perfect clarity, but I would say for the young people now that's thinking about, if you're on the fence of right and wrong, you got to understand everything that you see out here is entertainment. So when you seeing the rappers that's flashy with money, that's not their life. When you seeing, let's say, a drug dealer who's living at the highest, has all those things, understand the pressure and stress that he goes through. He's being chased by by law enforcement every single day. He's not sleeping good at night. And so what I would say to those young people is find your way, find your identity. Because it's just hard to explain, but the internet right now has it to where you want to get to the bag today.
Yeah, instant.
And so you don't have people going 4-year college. You don't have people investing in themselves, getting training. So what I would say to young people is that look at the retirement plan of the person you admire. You know what I'm saying? If it's an OG from your hood, if he's 50 or 60, what is he doing right now? If he's comfortable, follow that path. But what you'll notice is there's no longevity in that, the stuff that sends you to jail or prisons or shootings or things like that. There's no pension for that.
Do you think growing up during your time period that there were more maybe positive role models or influences in the hood? I mean, myself, I didn't have, my grandpa worked hard, but it wasn't like I wanted to be like him because I felt like he
Right.
was getting beat up.
Right.
You know what I mean? He had some properties and stuff, but it's like I used to look at him like, dude, you know, and I see the, you know, the cats, you know, down the street with the D's and the beat and, you know, they clowning. So I'm like, that's got to be a better way. Even though it's illegal, it seemed like it's less bodily stress and, you know, potential to make more wealth. But I didn't have the guy who ran the businesses around me or the corporations. I didn't see any of that stuff till I moved to Huntington. Luckily, I moved to Huntington Beach when I was a sophomore, and I'm seeing these white kids, Porsches, you know, daddies running businesses. You know, one kid had a strawberry farm. I'm like, dude, it was culture shock.
Yeah, legit.
So I think exposure is a big thing, and you haven't grown up out here. You were able to, I mean, Beverly Hills is 12 miles away.
But it's a world away when you're in the hood. So if you go into Beverly Hills as a child, for me, going to Beverly Hills was like a tourist. Like we would go to Beverly Hills to see what's going on. But we wouldn't do what we do as adults now, where if you want to be something, go to that area. You know, we have that heightened awareness now. But I would say, going back to what we talked about before, is like the exposure. So if all I'm exposed to is the homies with lowriders, they living it up, they doing it like, I'm thinking that's what it is. But when I grew up, we also had, this was when Crash developed with LAPD for the anti-gang stuff. It was Nancy Reagan, Dare Say No.
Yeah, that's right.
So my public figures, I was seeing guys being slammed on cars, arrested, and hauled off, who's maybe just now coming home. So that kind of also deviated me too, because you got to think about it. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, you had enemy hoods. You had sometimes your own homies who might be wet or tripping. And then you had the LAPD. That was a game that I pretty much was like, okay, what else is out there? You know what I'm saying? Because they was dogging us for real. So I would say that kind of deterred me and turned me around, but you know.
Did you ever have any people around you that were like in high level employment positions? Like I'd never met like until I got older, like you said, and consciously was aware of a doctor, a lawyer, a CEO. I didn't know what I mean, I watched Wall Street, the movie with Gordon Gekko, and I'm like, oh man, or Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous. But I'd never even seen a Porsche in my hood. You know what I mean? So I came to LA like, damn, I seen it on TV. You know, people with Benzes, Rolls Royce, you know. I didn't see that stuff, so I came out here, but I wasn't able to put it all together until I got older.
I had those figures in my life. My biological father was a lawyer and a judge.
Oh, wow.
But it wasn't cool. Like, I didn't admire that. You know what I'm saying? It felt boring. It felt sterile. But I did not admire the D-boys. But I wasn't into, like, the Dr. Huxtable life. Nobody really wanted. For me, it was more like you wanted to be an athlete or you wanted to be a performer of some type where you could make money like a dope boy, but you live in a clean life. You know what I'm saying? It's still like that today, I think.
You get all the benefits, but you ain't looking over your shoulder.
Exactly.
So as far as like, you went to San Diego State?
San Diego State.
And then like, what were your plans? While you were in college, I mean, were you kind of just having fun? Were you kind of thinking about the future? Or?
It was, at San Diego State, it was football and girls. I won't say girls, but my girl at that time. I wasn't like sleeping around, but I honestly thought I was just going to be in the NFL, be like a scout team player, you know, sit on the bench, make $300,000 a year, and then do that until, who knows? I didn't even think 3 to 5 years ahead. So when I came home, I came back to LA, I met my now wife, and we got together, and immediately it was like life is in session. So I had to do jobs, so that kind of reeled me in, put my feet on the ground. At 23, it's like, yo, I gotta earn some money now. And so I would just do whatever I could. I was working at the gym, doing security, oil change place, you know, anything to get it. But it was always a temptation because I have homies who like, they rolling. And they're like, man, get on board. And I'm like, but I would always think about my daughter.
That's right.
At that time, and then my son, who's my oldest child. So then I was like, I'm gonna stay on the straight and narrow no matter how hard it gets, you know what I'm saying? And it really wasn't until I got fired from that security job that made me start my business that grew me, like exponentially.
And so how'd you get into that business? I mean, were you introduced to it, or is it something that just popped up that you have seen somebody else doing? You're like, man, I'm gonna try that, or how'd you even get into that?
Well, I was always washing my dad's car. I would wash my car all
Yeah, I
the
like washing
time.
cars, too.
You know, it's like therapy. Sometimes you
yep,
get
yep.
out there, wash it. And so when I got fired, I had like 3 months worth of my life savings. So I told my wife, we got like until summer if something's got to happen. And so I would write down these jobs or companies every day I want to start. Dog walker, car wash, laundry service, and I would try each one a little bit and see which one would take. And so then I said, I think the car wash one, because you can't really mess up too bad.
Yeah.
You know? And so I put on Craigslist, you know, I'll wash your car for $20. A lady hit me up. She paid me $30. I was like, let's go. But, excuse me, I've always brought the hustler's mind state to it. So I would always save 10%. It was all cash that I was making, so I would put 10% in the safe. Before I knew it, I had like 10,000 in the safe, like almost like I'm dope dealing,
Yeah,
right? And I had
yeah.
stacks of money, organizing them, meeting the clients, writing them in the book, keeping the clients and retaining it. And so it started to grow. And when it was on my own time, I could tell people no if I didn't feel like it. I didn't have to worry about my supervisor if I didn't want to come to work hungover. And so I was just like, this is it. This is it.
And what about when you started scaling it? I mean, how'd you go about that? Because a lot of people, they get stuck and then they're trying to figure out, man, how do I scale this or take it to the next level? Did you have somebody who kind of showed you how to do that, or how was that game plan put into play?
I have a mentor, Jewish guy who told me I worked too hard, first of all. He was like, you own the company, and every time I book a car wash, it's you showing up. So he showed me how to kind of let go of the reins and let someone else come in and do that labor and budget for that labor so that I still make money.
Okay.
But for the scaling part, it scaled me.
Okay.
Like I never reached out. Now I used to do this hardcore. I would go to every address on this street and say, yo, I'm the owner of a car wash. We want to wash your cars, blah, blah, blah. I would do that endlessly. I stopped doing that because it was no results. So I would just continue washing cars. Somebody would call me. Hey, we're from the Fairmont Hotel. We want you to wash our limos. Okay, cool. All of a sudden I have that contract. And so then from that, the hotel across the street would say, hey, what are you charging now? I would tell them what I'm charging, and I would overcharge hotels.
Oh,
Still
you
do.
yeah,
for
they
sure.
got the budget.
For sure. And so, and they got money. And so one led to another. And so I was in Santa Monica at the Fairmont, and then Shutters on the Beach contacted me. And so now if you stay at Shutters on the Beach and you get room service car wash, that's my company.
Oh, wow.
Right now, someone's washing a car. And so that happened to me. It wasn't like I was out like, yo, I want to expand, let me in over there.
Yeah.
They would reach out to
Organically, it just kind of grew into
me.
itself.
Yeah. And it was just word of mouth, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Doing good business.
Yeah.
So as far as like for somebody looking to try to start their own business or be an entrepreneur, because I always promote along with Big Ant that the way of the future is to work for yourself. So you're not under somebody else's authority, and you ain't got to worry about being fired, but you can kind of set your own perimeters.
Yes.
What would you say would be the biggest thing that you would instill in a person who's trying to have that mindset?
What I would say is whatever you do right now for free, figure out a way to charge people for that. That's how you get into your own business. I have a 13-year-old son who loves to clean the shoes. He's cleaning the Nikes every day. So I told him, now you got to offer your friends, say, hey,
That's
for
right.
$5, this is what you do. Anyway, you do
Yeah.
it like breathing. So for me, any person that's aspiring to start their own thing, whatever you do right now for free, charge people. Charge people. I know that sounds kind of arrogant, but it's what it is.
It makes perfect sense because they always say, do something you love doing, and
You'll never work again.
You never work again. It's like I'm passionate about cars. I'm passionate about talking to people, helping people. So, trying to scale those things, organically they kind of grow into what they are. But it's the same thing because you don't feel like it's work. It's just you're enjoying the time.
I used to be washing cars by the beach, and I would just look up and say, thank you. Like this is crazy. And it would be like, let's say 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I say, after this car, I'm going to be done. I go down to the beach and I would go to, that's the one problem that I did have early on is I didn't push myself as hard as I could.
Okay.
I could have worked 8 to 10 hours a day and tripled my money, but I'm a leisure type of guy. After like 4 hours, I'd be like, I'm chilling.
And you're enjoying life.
And all of my employees, no one works more than 6 hours for the day.
Okay.
And you still make an 8 hours pay, but
Yeah.
I just think when you're in labor, no, it's 2022 or 23, whatever year.
Yeah.
Nobody should be 12 hours like grunting all day.
Yeah.
That's like, that's out. So, yeah.
And then what about the music stuff? So you do the music stuff too? You still produce on the side?
Yeah.
And how does that
so
work?
the music stuff is kind of tricky because people contact me and they'll say, hey, I want to do a session. So with the music, it's not always, I don't get to like plan it or construct it. Some people will use my beats. Some people will say, yo, I just want to record my voice on another beat.
Okay.
And so I'll help them arrange it, or, you know, it's kind of, that one's kind of up and down. And so I had a really good year last year dealing with some people that next year y'all will hear, I get, or maybe later this year.
Okay.
And so those are projects where I would do it for free. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know. When they be booking me, I'm like, yo, I'm just honored to be in this rapper's presence. Like, I would kick it with them, but they're paying me. So
Yeah,
like,
on top of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And based on like from what you're telling me, you know, washing people's cars over here, you know, recording music over here, you build up your network.
Yes.
So it offers up other opportunities.
It really does. And so, I mean, even with me here, it's like the network that I have. I got to shout out Bobby. He wanted me to shout him out and the Riff Raff crew. But that is part of my connection, my network of friends that I have.
Yeah.
And it comes from the car world.
Yeah.
I'm heavy in cars.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
That's how I got
cars.
your connected through the car world.
And you say Porsche, I drive a Porsche.
Yeah.
Today, I drive the dream, because I got fired from that job, I drive my dream car today.
Now, how important for those out there, you know, because I look back now and people always say, you know, you are a reflection of the people you socialize with.
Yes.
And I remember my grandpa used to always mad dog me when he see me, he'd come outside and they're like, man, your grandpa be tripping up.
Yeah.
But I look now like I
They
can.
used to tease me.
Yeah.
My homies would be like, hey, yo, we about to roll, ride, have fun, whatever, do whatever. And my dad would always be in the back like, tell him no. And so my friends would jokingly tell me like, yo, tell him no. And so they would always be like, hey, we about to go nah, you can't even go. And so that kind of preserved me, you know, because a lot of those were missions or turned into missions.
Yeah, yeah.
And
drama, something happening. Yeah, I always tell people, man, like some of the biggest changes that have helped me is my association. And I always go places where I tell people, get out your comfort zone. I remember even when I was fresh out and I didn't have a whole lot, I had a Cadillac Sedan DeVille with 3 matching wheels with 1 non-wheel.
That's the one that the trunk automatically closed.
Closed, yeah.
That was the first car
and
to
the front
ever
and
do
the front wheel, it's front wheel drive, so it's a big.
Yes.
It looks gangster.
It's longer in the front.
Yeah.
That was the first car to have that automatic.
Oh, what the
trunk?
The trunk, yeah.
And they also did the
doors.
where you just.
They had all that technology with the North Star.
Yeah.
With the North Star.
Oh no, you had a newer one then.
Mine was.
I'm thinking of '79. My dad had a '79.
Okay. My grandpa had, well, he had an '82.
Oh yeah.
What's the one everybody loves like now? What is it, the Bro?
El Dorado.
No,
no, you talking about the coupe?
The coupe.
The Brougham.
Everybody's to come by the house. Man, you selling the coupe? Grandpa selling that car? He had that coupe. That was his prize.
Yeah.
That coupe with the little square back window.
Oh yeah.
So and it wasn't cut. It was just clean.
Oh yeah.
So everybody wanted
people
to.
on camera, do they know what you're talking about?
Man,
they
don't.
It wasn't cut, meaning it's not a lowrider.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not damaged. Like that's hood talk.
That's like hood. Yeah. And I was like, dude, when he parked that car outside, dudes would drive by and they stop like be looking like, dude, what's your grandpa? Is he selling that? What's up with the Cadillac? Because that was the car. But I had a Cadillac when I first got it. The homie hooked me up from prison, and I would go to Malibu, and I was out of pocket, bro. I was over there off of PCH over there by that Italian restaurant in that little plaza over there, by there's Sephora and all that stuff was over there. But
you're at the Malibu Country Mart.
Country Mart, and I'd be over there thinking I'm gonna pick up on a cougar.
They're like, man, get your little
I'm over there like I ain't got no bread. I'm over here trying to hustle, man.
Yeah.
But I was way out of my comfort zone. But I had goals in my mind, like, man, I'm going for the highest when I get out.
Yes.
And so I never looked back, and I always said, hey, man, even when I would go back to the halfway house in South Central, I'd be like, man, what's my mission tomorrow? Where am I gonna try to go?
Yeah.
And I would think about all these places, because when I sat in the prison cell, I had a list of all these places like, man, I wish I can go here, but I wish I could go here. So I tried to hit all those spots.
That's dope.
But I tell people, man, all the time, man, get out the hood. You guys are getting paper. Expand your horizon.
And you are the average of your 5 closest friends. And so you always going to be connected to your past. So you're always going to have friends that you grew up with or people you associated with. But it's the people that you meet going forward that help that average. So for me, most of my friends are millionaires. I'm not a millionaire at this exact moment, but I feel like one.
Yeah.
Because when I'm with them, the security, the mind state is that we're going to be all right. If we're not all right, we're going to figure it out.
That's right.
And so that's what I think the difference between people who have and people who don't have is that despair. So if you have a friend, and when people call you, they want one of two things. They either want to give you something or take something from you.
You're right.
So when I'm on the phone with people, I'm like, are they giving to me or are they taking? Most of my better to do friends, giving. Hey man, what you doing? I want to take you to lunch. Or hey man, I was thinking
That's
about you
crazy,
or hey man, I got an extra so-and-so, you want that? But then you got another group of friends, hey man, hey Herc, I see you on TV, man. Let me hold some.
Yeah.
It's those two that we gotta balance. So
You know, it's funny you said that too, because I had somebody call me out the blue, man. He said, man, just on principle. Just on principle, man. You know I'm good. I'm like, dude, I ain't talked to you in I ain't never even seen you since I've been home.
Yeah.
And you talking about on principle? Come on, man. I'm like, dude, I just hung up the phone. Had to block his number. Crazy. I'm like, what? I'm like sitting there. I'm like, who does this dude think I am?
Yeah.
But like you said, you got those two groups of people, and you got to be able to distinguish, because one is, you know, all about like, hey man, let's go hang out, and then the other one's all about, or they're dumping their dirty laundry.
Yes.
Oh, Danny, you know, man, blah blah blah, all the negative stuff.
Yes.
You get off the phone, you're like,
yeah, you feel like, whoa.
yeah, like you
I
don't
went
want
through that too.
you know, like you don't want to hear about this. You're drained.
Yeah.
And I call them energy vampires. You know,
no doubt.
You got to
No
watch
doubt.
out for those people, man. So there's a lot of those out there too, because you're more of a bright spirit. So these people feel like, oh, I'm gonna have I call it mouth diarrhea on you. You know.
No doubt.
So you try to stay away
Diarrhea
from
in the
them.
mouth.
So what kind of plans do you have as far as in the future, as far as, you know, some of the stuff you have going on? I know you're a big car guy. Are you looking to do some stuff more in the car world, or you get more into the music? And I know you're doing some show stuff.
So the next thing for me right now, me and a friend of mine created a TV show. It's called The Crest, and it's car world, but I don't want to make it like a car commercial. So the show is about Angeles Crest Highway, and it's a highway that goes up from, just think if you wanted to go from downtown LA, there's a big mountain you always see behind downtown LA. That's where Mount Wilson is, or the observatory, or not the, I'm sorry, the
Griffin?
Griffith, no, not Griffith.
Griffith.
They have it's somewhere they observe the weather.
Yes.
I think it's Mount Wilson. Somebody's gonna watch this and correct it in the comments. But we drive up there every Friday. It is an entire different world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about, when you talk about getting out of your comfort zone, I used to, and this is in my Porsche, I would drive up there, be scared, because it's like a cliff. It's beautiful. It's a huge mountain, animals. And so I would be like scared. And so I got with this group of guys, and they're zipping up there. And so after about 6 months, I had someone in the car with me, and they're like, whoa, what are you doing? I didn't know. I got comfortable.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm up there zipping around. And so I said, man, I got to capture this. I got to share this. And so right now we're in pre-production, and we're developing it. So we're filming like pilots, like rough draft sketches, so that we can give it to somebody who has more money than me and get it going.
Okay.
So that's called The Crest. If we don't get somebody to write a check, then we'll produce it ourselves. You know, everybody's got some type of connection where we can get it working. And for the music, the music thing, I really look at the music like, you never know which song is going to be the one that sets you up for life. So I have songs out, and some of them do numbers, some don't do numbers. But the music is something I always just do. Like, I don't care what I'm making, because one of these joints is going to fly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it only takes that one hit that's like Billboard, and you're like, whoa.
I got homies you ain't never heard of that did one song with so-and-so, and they're gone.
Wow.
So I'm just waiting on one of those, you know. Then it'll be part 2, Rags to Riches, for this episode.
And it's crazy that you talk about Angeles Crest too, because like I've done some drives up there, and I remember one of the first drives I did up there, I had just finished my Chevelle, and I'm hauling ass through there. I had a 72 Chevelle.
454 or 350?
It's got an LQ9, and it's supercharged. But at the time, it was just the LQ9.
Fast.
Yeah, it's hot, but the damn brake fell off. So I heard some noise. I'm like, what? And so I pulled over, and you know if there's no reception.
Yeah, you done.
Luckily, one dude stopped, and basically, we went to that, that little hamburger spot way in the cuts up there?
New Combs Ranch.
Yeah.
That's where I am every Friday.
So we had to drive up there, use their phone.
Oh, wow.
My wife
And
stayed
they're
with the
closed
car.
now. You wouldn't have been able to.
Oh, man. They're closed now?
They closed now.
And
they have a payphone, but that don't work.
Oh, because AAA couldn't find. Man, I was up there for 4 hours because there's so many different. little forks.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So he couldn't. He's like, "Where are you?" And I couldn't get a hold of him. But yeah, that Angeles Crest, you guys. If you're the cycle, people die up there all the time, like motorcyclists.
Once a week. A buddy of mine is the sheriff, and he said they pull a body off that mountain once a week. People go. This is how. And the crazy thing is it's 5 minutes. Well, no, let me say it's 10 minutes from downtown LA. That you could be in the wilderness.
Yeah.
I'm in the snow half of the year, and it's because of up there. And so that's something that I want to document. And then I want to document the personalities, because it's not just cars, it's people up there. There's always people in a Prius driving slow. The cyclists are kind of, the motorcycle people are badass.
Yeah.
And so I want to bring all of that to something where people can see how crazy this is. And then you turn around and you're above the tallest building in downtown LA. You're at 5,500 feet at some point. It goes up to 7,500 feet. And that's where if it drizzles in LA, it's snowing up there. So you just go up there, you get in the snow, take your girl or whatever you do. Yeah, yeah. So that's next. That's what's next for me, the Crest.
As far as in wrapping up this interview and things that we've talked about, is there anything that you would like to share that you would tell the young person, the young Danny Sparks out there, if they're watching this and they're trying to figure out like some direction or look for some type of guidance? Because I know I've had kids comment in my videos like, Big Herc, how'd you get into cars? I've never met a black guy like you in the cars, man. And you always go to car shows. You're so happy, So, or how'd you get a hobby? I don't have a hobby. I'm like, dude, hobbies. We skateboard, BMX, drawing. We have drawing contests. We always have something going on.
Yeah.
But these kids don't have any hobbies or passions. What would you say to a young man out there trying to find that?
I would say some people think they don't have a hobby, but they do. It's like I was saying about do it for free and charge people, whatever you would do for free. Excuse me. I think for someone who says they don't have a hobby, I would say, what are you doing right now? Are you watching this video? Then what I would say is now what you should start doing is make your own videos reviewing these. If you, let's say you watch TV all day, there's jobs where they will pay you to rate or critique TV shows.
Right.
People don't get it. You could get money on your ass in this country. And so somebody who don't have that ambition, what I would say is, what did you do today? Or what did you do yesterday? And I would plan out your whole day. And one of those things that you did is a business yesterday. You fed yourself or fed somebody, you know how to cook. Maybe you start cooking.
That's right.
You cleaned up your house. You could clean up somebody else's house. So that's what I would say to somebody who's they don't have that desire. But then also, whatever excites you, I don't know, like cars excite me.
Yeah. And
so when I see another man driving a good car, I admire it. Like, that's not even my car. But that's where my car wash really goes. Because the better the car, I'm really washing it. I'm doing a really good job.
And people feel that energy.
Yeah.
People feel that energy. And as far as we're going to have some links in the description for your social media stuff, but what are some of the ways people can get a hold of you for your business and stuff you got going on?
So for my business, I don't really advertise the business because it's not like you could pull up on me.
Okay.
If you stay at a hotel in Santa Monica, my service will wash you.
Okay.
It's sparksdaddy.com, SPARXDADDY.com. I also have a mobile aspect where somebody will come to your house if you want.
Okay.
I prefer the hotel experience. It's just so much more luxurious. But and then on Instagram, I'm some guy in a 997.
Okay.
That's my Porsche. And then and like I said earlier, I'm part of the Riff Raff crew. A bunch of guys, 26 guys, all kind of cars, from Lambos to Mini Coopers to Toyota Corollas. And so we ride, and I'm a Porsche guy, so that's where you find me.
Hey man, I appreciate you coming on the channel because I'm trying to bring a whole nother element to our young black men to show that, hey, you ain't gotta be, thugging and doing all this other stuff. You can be articulate. You can be somebody who's, prominent in the community and be a positive person, man, and have come from an environment where maybe it wasn't so positive because you grew up right there in the block, bro. I know because it's like a lot of people have lost their lives over there.
Yeah.
So, you being able to share your story, man, and come on the platform, I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, you guys, Danny Sparks, Big Herc 916, fresh out. Make sure you guys share this interview, share the channel, and hit that subscribe button. I'm out.